Hello and welcome to another video in the series of tutorials for educators on how to submit new lessons for Teleskola. In the previous videos so far we had a general introduction of what is Teleskola, how to get a teacher account and how to submit a lesson. In this video we're going to see how we can actually edit the long description to insert further information such as links, further videos, change colors, change formatting of the long description, and how to edit other information of any submitted lesson. The first step is to actually log in with your teacher credentials, so your educator credentials. In this case, I am going to use my test account and I press login. Once I am logged in, as we have seen in the past video, you will see a black menu bar on top of the Teleskola page and your email address for your account. Now that I submitted a lesson, I want to change my long description to format it properly and maybe insert further resources in the long description and links and other, for example, bullet lists and number lists. And also I will show you how to edit information which has already been submitted in that lesson. It is very important to note that the Teleskola portal is made up of two parts. Is made up of a front end and a back end. What we have seen so far is all called the front end. So what the general public will see when they go to Teleskola.mt. However, with each modern web portal, there is always a backend or the administration side. The backend is only available for educators, so people who have teacher access level rights, education officers and heads of department of Teleskola, with obviously different access rights depending on the type of account that you have. To access the backend is very easy. There is the WordPress icon at the very top left hand corner in the black bar and you just press, and now I am in the backend of the system. All the lessons in the Teleskola system are categorized as posts. So if I click posts, I will view all the lessons that I as a teacher have input into the system. Since I am using this account just for this training sessions, I have only one lesson which I have created in the last video. Here I can see most of the information that I have input when I submitted my lesson. So the lesson title, who is actually the author, this is my test account, so teacher, the year group which is associated with that lesson, tags, I will explain it in the last video because it's not super important at this point in time. The date, so I did it 12 minutes ago, yes, I'm recording these tutorials back to back. Who is the contributor, so the name I put in the submit lesson as the contributor, the duration of the lesson, the resources, all the resources that I uploaded associated with this lesson, and the featured video link when I submitted my lesson. Some of these items can be edited directly from the screen. So everywhere there is this pencil icon, I can edit directly from the screen without going anywhere else. Let's say I want to change the duration from 40 minutes to 80 minutes and I press confirm for the change. If I want to change anything else which has a pencil next to it, for example, the title of my lesson, I can just press the pencil, change it from here, press the confirm, and obviously I would have changed the title of my lesson. However, these are just for ease of use. The only thing I cannot change from the screen is actually the long description. However, before I go to the long description, since we're on the screen, I am going to show you how to edit the resources which were uploaded with this lesson. Although if they are not images, the only thing I see is the file type, so PDF or document or whatever. If I go with my mouse on that file, I will see the file name which I uploaded. So in this case, it's no parking rev. The numbers underneath before the .pdf, they are system generated just in case, so that no two files are actually the same. So apart from your lesson title, from your file name, the system automatically generates an SHA code and it appends it to the file name just to make sure that no files are named the same, just in case, because if two files are named exactly the same, obviously the system will have problems on identifying which of the two the file that you are viewing is the right one. To delete, it's very simple. I have a cross icon on each file. If I want to delete one of the files, I just delete the files. When I need to edit them, so change any of the files, it's a bit more complicated. I press the pencil icon, which is the edit icon, and here I am presented with the media library. So one thing that I can do is I select which files I want to upload for this lesson. Unfortunately, once I edit one of the files, so let's say I want to have this file instead of those, unfortunately the system will replace all the files with that file that I just selected. Unfortunately, at this point in time, there is no way on how to just add one file and keep the rest of the resources which were uploaded, which were attached to that lesson. So if I want to change one of the files, I have to reselect all the files that I need to attach with that lesson. Now, one thing you will notice is if I select a file, it will only select one. The only way to select multiple files is to press left control, so the CTRL key on the keyboard, and click multiple files. As you can see, the check mark on the files will it will add all the files which you are clicking to your selection. So basically, if I press CTRL button, which is usually is the bottom left hand corner of your keyboard, and I just press Ctrl on my keyboard and click, I can select multiple files. So I have to reselect all the files which I need associated with that lesson, and I press select. Once I do that, it will reattach all the files I selected with that lesson. In case I want to add new files which I haven't already submitted with that lesson, I have to press edit, go to upload files, select file, I select my file and press upload. Once I do that, I can view it in the media library. It will be added in the media library, and then I can select it and press select, and now all the new files are attached to this lesson. So that is how to edit resources once that the lesson has been submitted already. Obviously, it goes without saying that if you are careful in the first place that you have added the necessary and correct resources to your lesson, it's obviously easier because you don't have to stay editing afterwards, remove the files, and you have to add them again, select them again, and so forth and so on. If I want to edit the long description, which most probably is the one thing that I will need to edit, you cannot do it from the screen, but it's very easy to do anyways. When I go on the lesson title with my mouse, I will get actions. These are called action links that have to do with that particular lesson. In this case, I am going to go to edit. I give some time for the system to load the screen. And now you can see that I have here access to the long description which I submitted initially with my lesson. Now, as I said, the long description from the submit lesson form unfortunately is plain text, and it is seldom that you want to leave the long description as plain text. However, from here you can edit the long description of the lesson to include whatever you want. The only thing that I need to do is click Classic Edit, and my text editor now turns into what we call a rich text editor. So basically, it's sort of similar to any word editing document software that you use. I can make my text bold or italic. I can include bullet lists or numbered lists. I can change font colors. Okay, please make sure that you don't change font sizes. As I said, this is at the time that I am creating these tutorials, there are already 600 lessons on Teleskola. We want to keep the system as professional as possible and as user-friendly as possible. So please do not change text sizes, because they will simply be rejected and they will not be published. So they will basically fail the review process and you will have to edit them again. So please make sure that you leave the font size at paragraph. Now, the most important things. If I want to add an image in this long description or a video file or a link, it's very easy to do. Let's start from adding a link. The first thing that I need to do is write whatever I want the link to show in the lesson profile. So I click here to go to the website. I select the text that I want to turn into a link. I press the insert or edit link, and there is a text box which pops up, and here I enter the link that I want that text. When it's clicked, that text will take me to this website. In my case, just for this tutorial, I'm going to use google.com. Please remember that every link or any link that you create in the long description, this is not just the step that you need to take. There is a further step. After you enter your link, your URL, so your address, your link address where you want the users to actually go when they click on this text, please press link options and make sure that the open link in a new tab is switched on. Please make sure that every link that you create in the long description, that open link in new tab is actually switched on. So just to recap, you click, you write the text that you want to turn into a link. You select that text. You press the insert link button from the top. You can go to link options directly, enter the address, and make sure that open link in a new tab is actually checked, and you just press add link. Now that text is actually a link. So if someone presses on that text, that they will actually go to www.google.com. In case you do it by mistake and you want to remove a link, you just select the text again, and there is a remove link button over here. If I click it, it shows like a broken chain link. And you remove the link from that text just by, so if it is already a link, and you want to remove the link from that text, you just click on it anywhere on the text, and there is a button called remove link, and you just press it. If I want to add images to my long description or videos, it's actually very easy to do as well. Here, the most important button that you have for pictures and videos is the add media. So to add a picture or a file or whatever it is very simple. You just go to the media library, select the file that you want. If it's not here and you want to upload a new file, you just go to upload new file, select the file, upload it. It will show in the media library. You just select it and press insert into post. And there you will have your image directly in the long description. If you want to add a video to your long description, again, it's from the same button, so add media, but instead of choosing it from the media library, you here on the left, you have certain options. The most important is the last one, insert from URL. Like this, we can link a video from YouTube. So let me get a link from YouTube for whatever video pops up first. I copy the link. I go back to where I was before. So in the Teleskola page, so just a reminder, I click the add media. On the left hand side, I clicked insert from URL, and all I have to do here is paste. So I paste the URL which I just copied from YouTube. I will get a preview to make sure that I'm actually linking the correct video. I click insert into post, and now I will get a preview of the video I just linked. If I want to see how my long description is looking, all I need to do is press preview on the screen. Once I press preview, the system will generate a preview with all the changes that I have just done. So as you can notice, the long description has just changed with the colors, the bullets, the images, and the video, which is playable from my long description. So all the changes that I made from the edit post have already been reflected into my lesson profile. Please remember that at this point in time, you can only submit for review. It will not show on the Teleskola MT website unless an EO or an HOD, so someone who has a reviewer account, has actually checked your lesson and published it to be available online. So here you will find submit for review. Again, once you are ready to save your changes, all you need to do is submit for review. So now the changes have been made, and I can go back by pressing either the W or just going back in my browser. Make sure that your changes are saved by pressing submit for review. Please also make sure that in your screens, although your access rights have been limited, there are still other options which are available in your screen. Please make sure that whatever was not mentioned in this training is not changed or edited in a way, just to make sure, not because it's going to break the system, but just to make sure that your review process for your lesson to go online is as easy and as fast as possible. In the other video, I mentioned that a lesson can be attached to more than one year group. Those are called categories. So if I go to categories and I click it to expand it, please be aware that there are a lot of year groups and subjects in the system, so this might take a while to load. So if I go into my edit screen again, so let's go back outside so I can show you again how to edit a lesson. So I go to my lesson title and press edit over here. The screen changes. I go to the lesson, to the backend lesson edit screen. Remember that at the moment we are on the backend side of the system. Okay. Instead of block here, I'm going to select document. And over here, there are some changes which I can do as well. The year groups. So the lesson is categorized under the category section. It takes a while to load because the list is quite large. And however, if I go down, I realize that at the moment year 9 computing is selected. If I made the mistake and this lesson was not meant for year 9 computing, so I'm going to go to, as an example, I'm going to go to year 10 computing. So I go to year 10 computing and I select it. If I submit for review again, now I realize that if I go back to the main screen, my lesson is now listed as year 10 computing. Now, if you remember, as I said in the last video, I told you that a lesson can be attached, so it will be shown on more than one year group or subject. This is good for cross-curricular subjects or general information subjects which need to be shown throughout different subjects. All I need to do is go to edit again, and where I change the category now, instead of just choosing year 10 computing, I'm waiting for my categories to load. I can, for example, say this lesson is good for year 9 accounting, year 9, this will be impossible, but just as an example, I say this lesson is good for year 9 accounting, year 9 agribusiness, year 9 art, and year 9 biology. So as you can see now, the lesson will actually be shown for searches in year 9 accounting, year 9 agribusiness sec, year 9 art, year 9 biology, year 10 computing. My lesson is still showing pending and will keep showing pending until a reviewer account level, so NEO, HOD, or anyone else who has a reviewer account level access for Teleskola will publish the lesson, will review and publish the lesson. Until that happens, my lesson will keep showing as pending and will not show on the lesson list in Teleskola.mt. So just a quick recap, we saw how to edit resources, how to edit information once the lesson is submitted. In my administration screen in my backend, I will see all the lessons which I only created. And we also have seen how to edit the long description of a lesson, how to format it, how to insert links, how to insert images and videos, how to change colors, so forth and so on, and how to change year group if I need to. However, this is a change which seldom needs to happen. For ease of use, if you want, you can also change the short description from here. If you're editing the long description and you want to change the short description, you can edit it from here, from the edit lesson screen. It's called excerpt, and how to access all the editing functions for a lesson which has already been submitted. Obviously, the last one, if you want to delete a lesson before it is published, or even if it is published, all you have to do is bin it. So you select bin, and once that I click bin, the lesson will be removed and deleted from the lesson list. Thank you for following how to edit an existing lesson in the Teleskola system. And for the last video in this series of tutorials for educators for the Teleskola system, I will show you how to respond to comments which have been submitted to your particular lesson.